Which rookies do I feel like are going under the radar that either landed in really good spots, are really good players, or both? Stay tuned, I'm going to tell you. Hey, before we get into that, I need to remind you, if you're new to Dynasty, or if you want to try Dynasty, we just dropped our new courses. We have a startup strategy video training course, plus we have a rookie draft strategy video training course. These courses are geared to the newer beginner Dynasty player who wants to figure it all out and wants to get better at either of these drafts. These are very easy to digest video courses. You will learn so much, 20 plus years of experience and mistakes that Pierre and I have made, so you don't have to. Plus, you get access to our brand new Endgame Building Dynasties Dynasty League. There are only 7 spots left in this league, so you want to hurry up. The next 7 to sign up at flockfantasy.com/endgame. 30% off any subscription, by the way, will get access to this Dynasty League. So if you've been thinking about it, or if you want to add a new league, this is your chance to get into Dynasty and have fun playing against Pierre and I. Not to mention, first place is going to take home $100, second place is going to take home $50, and everybody's probably going to get a free Endgame shirt. So flockfantasy.com/endgame, 30% off. Check out the training courses, join the Dynasty League, and then come show us what you've learned in our startup draft. All right, so let's get into some rookies that I feel like are being way undervalued, and I'm not really sure why, because I love these rookies, and I'm going to be drafting them every chance I can in all of my rookie leagues. Now, let's start with running back Kendre Miller from TCU. He went with the 8th pick in the 3rd round to the Saints, and it's like nobody noticed. And what's interesting about this is, before the draft, it was like nobody noticed. I guess because he didn't do any combine testing. He didn't do any athletic testing at his pro day because he was coming off that MCL sprain he suffered against Michigan in the college playoffs. But this guy's a beast. He's one of the best running backs in this class. One of the top running backs in terms of yards after contact. He has the vision. He's not a liability in pass protection. He can catch. He can really do it all. And had he tested, you would have seen, everybody would have seen, that this guy has legit home run speed. He likely would have run a low 4.4 40, and the guy's over 215 pounds, so he's got the size, he's got the home run ability, he can catch, he can create yards after contact, he can block in pass protection. This guy can do it all, and now he's joining the backfield that has 28-year-old Jamal Williams, who outside of touchdowns last year did basically nothing. Soon to be 28-year-old in July, Alvin Kamara, probably also soon to be suspended Alvin Kamara, who's been terrible for 2 years straight. So the path here for Kendre Miller is not that tough at all. And by the way, talking about age, Kendre Miller hasn't even turned 21 years old yet. He's younger than even Bijan. So you're getting a massive age discount. And in my opinion, he's the best running back on this team right now. I think he takes over this backfield as the season goes on. And kind of like Tyler Algier last year, helps people win fantasy championships. But unlike Tyler Algier this year, he doesn't get replaced because he's an absolute stud, and he's going to prove it this year. Now, if you're in a super flex league, or maybe you are really desperate for a quarterback, I'm going to recommend you draft Hendon Hooker this year. He was drafted with the 5th pick in the 3rd round by the Detroit Lions, and I love this spot for Hendon Hooker. Now, he's coming off that ACL injury, which is probably why his draft stock fell, because this is a guy, prior to that ACL injury, was almost certainly going to win the Heisman, and had he been healthy, I don't see any way he falls to the 3rd round, maybe early 2nd round, and I think he would have been drafted ahead of Will Levis. But because of that ACL injury and his age, he is a little bit up there in age, teams were turned off. But he has all the talent in the world, and now he lands in the perfect spot because Jared Goff, likely going to be the starter this year. But what are the long-term plans with Jared Goff? Well, probably not very much, because next year, the Lions can cut Jared Goff and save $24 million of cap space. So they can easily move on from Jared Goff next year, who, let's face it, he was good last year, but it wasn't like he's the type of quarterback that's going to take you over the top. If they do cut Jared Goff after this season, Hendon Hooker would step into an offense that has a lot of weapons. They just drafted Jahmyr Gibbs. They drafted Sam Laporta, the tight end, who I like and think will be a good pass-catching tight end. They already have Amon-Ra St. Brown. Don't forget, they drafted Jameson Williams last year. Sure, he's going to be suspended the first 6 games of this year, but that won't impact you next year. This is going to be a loaded offense next year, and you're going to want the starting QB here, and I really think it's going to be Hendon Hooker. And because he fell in the draft, and because he has an ACL, and because he's older, a lot of dynasty players are kind of off Hendon Hooker. So especially if you're in a super flex league, but even if you're in a 1 QB league and you're getting down to your last picks and you need a quarterback, take a look at Hendon Hooker. No, he won't help you this year, but starting next year and beyond, I think he helps immensely. Now let's get to some wide receivers, and I loved it when the Browns took Cedric Tillman with the 11th pick in the 3rd round. I know his teammate Jalen Hyatt, had all the numbers and got all the pub, but Jalen Hyatt ran Mickey Mouse routes, was lined up in ridiculous formations that won't translate to the NFL. Cedric Tillman was lined up as the X receiver most of the time for Tennessee. He ran real routes in college, and he was very productive. And now he lands in a great spot here where, sure, you can think, well, they already have Amari Cooper. Okay, they do. But he's 29 years old. And Amari Cooper isn't a true X receiver. He's more the flanker receiver in here. Sure, he'll line up at the X sometimes, but he'll also line up off the line of scrimmage, even sometimes in the slot. Donovan Peoples-Jones is their X receiver, and that's the role best suited for Tillman. He's 6'3", 216 pounds. He's a big guy, and he can run those X routes, and he can run them very well. And the thing about Donovan Peoples-Jones is, number one, he hasn't been that good in the NFL to make you think the Browns are fully committed to him, but also he's on the last year of his contract. It wouldn't be surprising at all if the Browns just let him walk next year and let Tillman take over that X role. So now you have the X wide receiver tied to Deshaun Watson in this Browns offense. And you may be saying, I don't care, Deshaun Watson's terrible. Okay, are we going to go off of 6 or 7 games at the end of last season with all the off-the-field stuff, coming off a suspension? Or are we going to go with the first part of his career where he was a top 5 QB every single year of his career outside of his rookie year? I'm going to go with that one. I think Deshaun Watson is going to bounce back big time this year. Full offseason with the offense, not as many distractions off the field. I think we see top 5 Deshaun Watson again, and that's really good for Cedric Tillman going forward because, like I said, I really do think they just move on from Peoples-Jones after this year. I mean, we could see Tillman start taking over that X role as the season goes on, and I haven't really heard people talking about him. I haven't heard people saying this is a smash landing spot, but I think it is. This is a smash landing spot. I'm going to be drafting Tillman every chance I can. Let's go a little bit deeper here to Michael Wilson, formerly of the Stanford Cardinals, now of the Arizona Cardinals. I guess he was just meant to be a Cardinal, but they drafted him with the 31st pick in the 3rd round, and I love this landing spot for Michael Wilson. Again, another guy like Tillman, a bigger receiver who profiles as an X receiver and can run those X-style routes pretty well. But what do we got going on in the Cardinals offense right now? Well, right now, DeAndre Hopkins is still there, and he is their X receiver. Hollywood Brown, more of that flanker type, line him up all over the formation, use him in different ways. Hopkins, the guy, he pretty much lines up on the left, on the line of scrimmage, almost every single snap, true X receiver. But also, he's old. There's rumors of them trading him. And look at what they did in this year's draft. They stockpiled way more picks for next year. They have multiple picks in each of the first 3 rounds next year. They are not looking at this year at all. They're looking ahead to next year. They know Kyler Murray coming back from the ACL, probably going to miss a big chunk of the season. They're looking ahead to next year. There's no way, even if somehow they don't trade DeAndre Hopkins this year, there's almost no chance DeAndre Hopkins is a Cardinal next year. That means Michael Wilson will get a chance, A, to learn from DeAndre Hopkins, and B, become the starting X receiver next year when this offense is ready. They have multiple picks, like I said, to improve this offense, improve this offensive line, improve this defense. It'll have a healthy Kyler Murray. It'll be him and Hollywood Brown as the 1A and 1B receivers. And I think he's really going to smash in this offense. So another guy where maybe you won't get the most out of him this year, but hang tight because I think next year and beyond, he'll be a beast. All right, so those are some of the rookies I'm trying to draft in all of my rookie drafts. But if you want to see the guys I'm trying to target in all of my regular drafts, check out this video right here.